Good evening and thank you for tuning in to another week with Fathers Who Care. It has been one of those weeks. I mean, the news is hot, the people are hotter, but here at Fathers Who Care, what we want to do at this particular show is bring to you the audience individuals who are movers and shakers and making a difference in our community. Of course, I want to thank all of our young people out there, our youth council for the West Side, who's been doing such a yeoman job on producing these shows, assisting in these shows, and please tune in with them next week for their live show next week, same time, same station, the West Garfield Park Youth Council. We have Amari, Ari, and Mashayla, Vernisha, Kenyatta, David on out, and whoever else out there. Forgive me for forgetting your names, but I'm having moments. All right, what can I say? I can't remember all the names. But listen, tonight is going to be one of them shows where we're going to come together and talk about what can we do as a community to empower each other. And I also want to preference tonight, if you don't mind, that it is important that you vote. Vote, please vote. Vote your conscience, vote, it's your right. Make sure you vote so that we're getting ready to make history. That's right. We're getting ready to make history. It's going to be the first African-American woman mayor of the city of Chicago. You. So listen, make sure that you vote. It's your right to vote. But this evening, we want to take this show to another level, and we specifically want to talk about how can we restore faith, hope into our community and work together to empower our young people. Empower our young people, empower our community. So who we have with us this evening, we have the newly elected commissioner, Commissioner Brandon Johnson of the 1st County District. You've been in office since, I believe, 2018, correct?
December 2018.
2018, is that right?
That is right.
Okay, now what I would like to do, if you don't mind, sir, I would like to first say thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for the work that you've been doing on some of the initiatives that I've been watching so far. And thank you for the availability and the openness that you've shown with communicating. I mean, you made it, I'm just being frank with you, and I have to be transparent. You made it your business to just say, to hit me on the line and say, listen, can I come by and talk with you? And we came back, and you came back and talked with me, with your staff, about what we can do together to try to continue to empower these young folks. I love that stuff. That's genuine stuff, all right?
Yeah.
Straight up.
Thanks.
But anyway, and you can share some things if you want, but I want to first say that I know you to be a man of God.
That's right.
You do have God in your life.
I do.
You're a husband. You're a father. You're passionate about your concerns. You believe in community empowerment and social justice. And you're a man on a mission to make a difference. Now, that's what I know.
Well, that sums it up.
And that's some things that I know, all right?
Thank you for recognizing that.
Now, what I like to do, if you don't mind, this is a live interactive television show, meaning that this show folks can call in, and I encourage you to call in. We're going to be talking about should we legalize marijuana. If you've got a concern about that, call in. We're going to be talking about what can we collectively do to save our children and our community. I'm talking about together. What can we do? Not say that's your job or that's your responsibility. What can we collectively do together to empower our young people? And what can we do to bring some onus or some understanding about the fact that some of our folks in the community are traumatized and in need of mental health services. And we have limited mental health resources. So that's just some thoughts. But before we do that, why don't you tell us, who is Brandon Johnson? Well, okay, fine. We know you was elected commissioner. We'll just give you that. Is that fair?
That is fair.
We don't want to know that yet. We want to know, who is Brandon?
Yeah.
Let's just say it. Can I call you Brandon?
That's it. Of course.
Okay. Who is Brandon?
So thank you, first of all, Reverend Jones, for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And in the work that you're doing, having
Yes, sir.
an opportunity to meet some of your young folks tonight, that always motivates me. That is what has propelled me, quite frankly, into this moment.
Okay.
So for me, I grew up in a working class family. My father, who is a hardworking public employee, but he also pastored a church. My grandfather pastored a church, and we were raised in the first jurisdiction of Illinois, the Churches of God in Christ.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time growing up in prayer meetings, Bible study,
Yeah.
of course, choir rehearsals all day.
Yeah.
But I'm one of 10 as well. I have 9 brothers and sisters, and from an early age, watching the way my parents and my grandparents served the community is where, quite frankly, my values come from. that we certainly look out for our family, but our family extends beyond our address, that our family extends into the neighborhood. And I remember back in the day where my mother provided services for families who did not have enough food to eat. And to be in the church basement of my grandfather's church, passing out everything from flour to the raisins to the cheese. You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I know. And, go ahead, though.
You know, but it was, you know, through that experience that I got a chance to really understand and appreciate what it means to be of service. And so when I got older, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to pattern my life after my parents. And
you have a wife.
I do. She says hello, by the way.
Tell her, you know, she's cool. Men are cool.
Absolutely.
I mean, we are cool. We actually are cool. All right?
Really cool. Yeah.
I think I told you that before.
You have.
Yeah. Hello, darling. What's her name?
Stacy.
Really?
Yeah, Stacy.
You got children?
I have 3 children. Owen is my oldest. He's 11. Ethan is my middle son, my middle child. He's 6. And then my baby girl, Braden.
So let's go back to your wife.
Yeah.
Now, your wife is seasoned.
She is.
She's been in the system a while, you know.
She's an amazing woman of God. Definitely committed to our community. My wife has spent a lot of time working within our communities to organize around issues that affect Black people in particular, not just Black here in America, but throughout the diaspora. So she's traveled all over the world. So
and she really has a passion.
She does, and it's.
I call her the silent giant.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, she is such a motivator. You wouldn't know it because she doesn't use a lot of words.
That's right. But what she do?
We're very clear about how she feels. So,
a wise man would be.
Absolutely. I think the best part about my wife is her understanding of my calling. When I decided to become a teacher here in Chicago, I taught at Jenner Academy for a few years. Before I taught, though, I worked as a youth development worker at the New City YMCA of Chicago in Cabrini Green. Eventually went on to become a teacher. Taught in Cabrini Green at Jenner Academy on the north side, and I taught at Westinghouse on the west side of Chicago. So I've enjoyed, a career of working with young people, and obviously my passion through teaching, gave me a view of the world that quite frankly is oftentimes missed.
So you're a father.
Yeah.
You're a child of the faith.
That's right.
And I'm gonna say husband. Let me back up. You're a husband.
That's right.
You're a child of the faith, and you're a father.
That's right.
Tell me about that.
It's the most important part about my life. Honestly, it's the greatest gift that my wife and I could ever have is to have 3 children. Yesterday, I celebrated a birthday.
Happy birthday to the dog.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
And
you want to say it?
No, my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Brandon!
Yes, to me.
But didn't I hit you on something? Say happy birthday.
You did.
Oh, okay.
On social media.
Yeah.
And
come on, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
But my children, they hear their voices sing happy birthday to me, and just the love and the affection that they have. It's why I'm motivated the way I am, because it's not just about securing a good future for my children, Reverend Jones. It's about securing a good future for their friends and extending that beyond our address, just like my parents raised me to do it.
Okay, can we go into some other issues?
Please, right.
Because I appreciate that, and I think the audience now got a feel of who you are. But if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you some question. Why did you want to be a commissioner, and what is the responsibilities thereof?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I've seen way too much in the city of Chicago and Cook County where government has constantly cut services. They've closed down services, and we've seen this. We've cut in our mental health care services. We've closed down schools. People have been laid off. That this approach towards government, this austerity budget that continues to be pushed by these corporate type Democrats and Republicans who are acquiescent, if you will, to the corporate power structure. And there are real enemies of the public sector. And that's why you're seeing such an attack on our transportation, our public health, our public schools, our public employees. And for far too long, we've had the wrong people representing our people, but not the interest of our people, that they've represented the interest of corporations. And I got tired of it, to be quite frank with you. I'm tired of folks not valuing our communities in the way in which it should be valued. And that's securing good schools, good jobs, healthcare services, transportation, public housing, affordable housing. These are all things that it continues, that the corporate interest continues to influence the political structure, the political parties, and taken those viable, important services away from us. And so I decided to run because I wanted to lift up a message that was pretty clear. And there were three things. One, no more cuts, no more closures, no more consolidations, no more so-called efficiencies, no more cuts. That we have to protect the interest of workers. Many of my family members were public employees, where we worked either for streets and sanitation or for the Chicago Public Schools or train operators, that we have to protect workers, but we also have to expand vital services like healthcare. That was important to me. I'm sure many of the viewers can relate to this. I used the Fantas Clinic.
I remember the clinic.
And for an important stretch of my life, that was where I received healthcare.
And the county.
And the county, exactly.
Because you can't get to the clinic without the county.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
so when you see those services constantly attacked and cut, and I know how important those services are, having grown up with asthma, and to wait in those lines, it wasn't always convenient, but to see a doctor and be able to get my inhaler, that was important. And so I decided to run for Cook County Commissioner because I wanted to put the interest of working families first.
Okay, so let's do this here. I think we got a caller.
Okay.
And the way we work it here is we yield and we allow the caller to share their question with you, and then you can respond to the question.
Excellent.
This is not the Jerry Springer show, so we don't have callers coming in with cranks. So I'm going to ask you ahead of time, please, if you got a crank message, call the other show. I mean, they got one of those shows too. This ain't that though. Caller, you on the air. You're coming to question, please. The phone lines are now open.
Okay, yes, this is a question for both of you guys. Sorry. I was going to ask, how do you feel about them legalizing marijuana and an old law that they passed about them taking away Obamacare?
Good questions. Thank you so much. First one was, your opinion is about, thank you for those questions, seriously. Legalizing marijuana, and I did hear this legislation this week about Trump trying to rally up the troop to gut Obamacare or the ACA, all right? So those are the questions.
Those are good questions, and thank you, caller, for taking the time out to inquire. So first of all, I do support the legalization of marijuana.
You do?
I do support that. We have to work to decriminalize nonviolent offenses. You know, one of the things I'm actually proud of is that the Cook County leadership, particularly under the leadership of President Preckwinkle, has moved to reduce the population of folks in jail. And that's a big deal because many of the individuals who were confined because they didn't have the ability to pay post bail. And when we look at the criminal justice system and how broken it is, and the disparate impact it has had on our communities, marijuana and low-level nonviolent crimes has ruined a generation. I believe at one point 25% or so of individuals in federal prisons were there because of marijuana charges. And so not only do we have to work to decriminalize it, because the war on drugs, or the so-called war on drugs, has been really an attack on black and brown families, that we also have to legalize it. And one of the ways that I believe that we can actually resolve some of the financial challenges that we have as a county, as a state, as a city, is to generate revenue from the legalization of marijuana.
And how much would you think that would be?
Oh wow, we've seen conservative
right?
estimates anywhere from $100 million to $1 billion.
Okay.
You know, over time.
So, now, how would that work? Now, we already have legalization of marijuana for municipal purposes, right?
Right.
So, how would that work if we legalize marijuana for recreational adult use? How would that be different, or would it be different than what we already have?
So it would be different because we're talking, you know, like how we regulate tobacco use as well as
so
it'd
be something to that degree.
So it has to be regulated. That has to be worked out. But I think it's also important that we note that these are opportunities, Reverend Jones, for economic development and business owners, entrepreneurs to actually benefit from a substance that, quite frankly, we've been penalized. And it's not like black folks are using it more. It's just that law enforcement has strategically gone after our people. And so we have to make sure at the county level, the state level, the city level, that we're carving out not just regulations, but opportunities for licensing so that businesses can grow, particularly black-owned businesses can grow.
So minority growth.
Yes.
And businesses.
Absolutely.
So that would mean that the dispensaries and the production of these plants would be able to go to folks who have not been convicted of any kind of felonies. And or, now I know there's 55 dispensaries already in the state of Illinois and only 5 left.
So yes, and we also should be looking to employ individuals that have backgrounds. I mean, this is something I know you're very passionate about.
Absolutely.
It's something that I'm passionate about.
Absolutely.
We have to create opportunities for individuals who are returning back to our communities anyways. And if we're not creating job opportunities for them, then we're setting our neighborhoods up to fail.
So when you think though, Commissioner, and thank you so much. Thank you, really. When you think though, if a person has already paid their debts to society, that should be their debt.
That's it.
And not that they have to be constantly ostracized because of history or something they've done in the past. I'm of the mindset that, you know, when a person has done their due diligence to redeem themselves, then they should be having an opportunity to redeem. We got a caller. Caller, you on there. The comment, the question, please. Hello?
Yes. Hello.
Thank you for calling. Your comment or question, please.
My question is to the commissioner. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. Talking about the legalizing of the marijuana. With this legalizing, will there be an age limit to this legalizing, or will the legalizing be for the younger generation? You know, young kids. So there's a lot of young kids that's doing marijuana. That's the reason why I'm so against the marijuana being legalized, because there are so many young people, and this stuff that they're smoking is so loud. And it's
That's why they call it loud, right? But I think. Sorry, were you finished, ma'am?
I just want to know what would be the age limit that they would.
Okay, the age limit. Now, Commissioner, I think you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's a great question.
Go ahead.
We at the county level, we just voted to raise the age of individuals who can purchase tobacco from 18 to 21. So we have to be responsible, you know, with these substances, because there are, you know, concerns that families have around these substances. And so I believe the regulation that we're talking about, that has to be considered.
Right.
About
so
what
we're talking
the
about
legal
the possibility,
age is.
right, of 21 or something.
So for me, you know, I mean, of course, right now the 18 is usually the cutoff. Right.
Okay.
We're
for the purchase of alcohol and
well, it was for tobacco. It was raised to 21
for tobacco.
For tobacco.
What about alcohol?
So for alcohol, I believe that the legal age is also 21, if I'm not mistaken.
So Dan,
so I believe it should fit within the framework that's already established, particularly as we look towards creating more responsible spaces.
So. Right? I think so. If it's going to happen, right?
Agreed. So you won't get an argument from me. And the concern that families have about young people accessing, and this is why we have to do our due diligence as parents, as community leaders, to make sure that we're educating young people about making decisions that are appropriate for their age, and that there are certain decisions that they can't make until they're legal adults.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for that question. What is the state of the Cook County?
The state of Cook County right now is in a really good space right now. I think we have tremendous opportunity to do some amazing, progressive, bold things. So right now, the county budget, we're looking at almost $6 billion.
$6 billion budget.
Essentially, it's like 5.9, something like that, but well over 5 billion, almost $6 billion. Most of the budget secures healthcare services for families in Cook County, and so I'm very proud of the fact that through the leadership of many folks, but particularly President Preckwinkle, to bring county care to Cook County. It provides opportunities for families to actually access health care, and this was actually through the Affordable Care Act. That, as you know, Reverend Jones, President Trump is trying to dismantle that and rescind it. And so snatching, really snatching hard against Bruce Rauner as well as Donald Trump, that Cook County was able to secure health care for well over 300,000 families. Yeah. Why that's important to the 1st District quickly is that at the Loretto Hospital, for example, 70% of the patients there are on county care. But here's the good news though. 40% of the workers at the Loretto Hospital live in Austin. They live in the 1st District. So when we create opportunities for folks to access health care, we're also creating jobs for folks. And so I believe the county is well positioned not only to expand healthcare, but to create job opportunities for folks as a result of it. The last thing that I'll say is one of the things that I've actually been working on because of the number of returning residents to our district who have backgrounds. I just moved on an ordinance. I introduced an ordinance that basically would give families who have a background an opportunity to rent. That we cannot discriminate in terms of housing against families that have a background. 50% of young people are growing up with at least one parent that has a criminal background. If we're not addressing the opportunity for housing and affordable housing and pushing back against discrimination against families who have been caught up in criminal behavior, but they've also have rehabilitated, that if we're not creating opportunities for them, we're going to continue to have the type of suffering that we've experienced for far too long in our district.
So let's just let's go to this point.
Sure.
What is your vision or initiatives or strategies or how you want to term that one? But what is your what you envision?
Yeah.
Is a good word.
That's a good question. Well, I think one of the
your
things,
involvement, of course.
Well, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. The first thing that I think is important is for the Cook County government has to attach itself to people who are already doing the work. And that's organizations like yours. We've met with well over 65 community-based organizations that service young people, healthcare, seniors, from the western suburbs to the west side of Chicago, Garfield Park, Austin, Maywood, Bellwood, Broadview. I've been all over the district meeting with folks. And what I'm hearing over and over again is that people want access to their government. Absolutely. What are the opportunities to rebuild our infrastructure? What dollars are available to make sure that our water pipes are actually moving and it's actually getting to people's household and they're not paying a whole bunch of money for it? What are those block grants that allow for community organizations to continue to service our people? How do we create more job opportunities at the county level? What about affordable housing? And so for me, besides protecting the interests of workers, the working class, I want to expand healthcare. I also want to push for more justice in our criminal broken system. And by actually giving people who have a background an opportunity to rent, that's how we're going to address that. I fully support Medicare for all. I know it's being moved at the federal level, but we have to do it at the local level as well.
So let's go this thought here, because we shared some information earlier about mental health.
Yeah.
Do you see there's an issue or a stigma associated with mental health in your district?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. And not only just the stigma, we've also seen gross disinvestment. When the mayor of Chicago, I'm going to be glad when he's gone, because he's actually quite offensive. He's actually quite troubling. And the policies that he has moved have not only been racist, but they've been sexist because they've attacked women, black women in particular, by closing schools and disinvesting in our neighborhoods.
Yeah, that was sad. That was sad.
But he also closed mental health facilities.
Absolutely.
And so now what you're seeing is at the county hospital and other local hospitals, West Suburban, which is in the district, Rush in Oak Park, the Loretto Hospital, you're seeing a lot of these hospitals now having to absorb the impact of not having mental health care services Absolutely. In our district.
So if a person was interested in getting in touch with you, is there a way that they can contact you?
They can.
What's your office number?
All right, so that's actually something I should know by heart, which I don't yet. You know, they just gave, my brother just got in office.
So how about we tell them to give us a call?
Yeah.
Or go to your website.
So you can go to our website and you can find us there, the Cook County Government website. All of our information is there. They can find me on Facebook, Commissioner Brandon Johnson. Our phone number information is there. I'm also on Twitter, Brandon CCD1. That stands for Cook County District 1. So Brandon CCD1, Commissioner Brandon Johnson on Facebook. They can go to my website, which is the Cook County Government website. They'll be able to find all of my information there. So I've really been humbled these last few months of just connecting with the residents of the First District. I mean, so many people have demonstrated so much excitement and energy, and I really believe that a very bold, progressive, dynamic vision is what the First District needs, and I'm glad to be serving.
So you heard it here. We have the commissioner here talking with us about what's going on in the community and what we can do to empower each other. Now, I want to tell you a few things that almost slipped me. Listen, we have a community meeting on April the 1st at 4401 West Madison. Come on out, share your concerns, talk about the state of the West Side and what we can do to empower each other. We encourage you to come out on the 1st, April the 1st, forgive me, 6 o'clock, 4401 West Madison. Also, we'll be doing a collaboration with the 11th, 15th, and 25th districts on April the 11th, and it's going to be at the Quest Center. For additional information, call Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821. 773-287-5821. Now, these were some things we just talked about. We talked about the community meeting for those in the community who wanted their voice to be heard on April the 1st. And then we have a collaboration 11, 15, and 25 on domestic violence. And we're doing some other stuff with survivors of violence. And so we got a few things going on at that particular meeting that we're trying to bring people together who are traumatized and becoming desensitized and all of that kind of stuff. So for additional information about our commissioner here, call his office. Of course, he's the commissioner for the 1st District. And also, if you need additional information, call Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821. So we want to encourage those of you who are watching the show this evening, make sure you vote. It is important. It is important. It is important that you vote. Don't talk about nothing else if you don't go out and vote. Vote your conscience, vote for your children's inheritance, vote for your community, vote for a new face, a new day, a new spirit, a new energy in the community. However you do it, it don't matter to me who you vote for, that you vote. Please vote. Vote. It's your right. So listen, thank you so much, Commissioner. We really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching the show. You heard us. We heard you here. You heard your concerns. We heard our concerns. Everybody had a concern. The young people had a concern. Folks was talking about the legalization of marijuana. You heard the Commissioner gave his opinion. I have my opinion. My opinion is let's get some of them guys who've been incarcerated for holding on to some marijuana. Let's give them a chance to get out.
I agree.
Some expungement. So anyway, God bless you all. God keep you. Good night. Tune in next week to the West Garfield Park Youth Council. Listen, we got some brothers coming in next after this show. So we'll talk to you then. God bless you. Good night. Keep the faith. Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep you, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you.